In this episode, we're going to witness a true bicycle transformation. There will be some before and after effect, or before and after. Alrighty, so this is the box that came from one of you guys, one of my viewers. I got an email a couple of months ago actually saying, Dan, I'd like to just give away my bike, which I'm not using that much. Maybe someone else will be able to ride more or is maybe in need of having such a bike. I said, great, let's work together. I'm gonna do the full overhaul and let's give it to somebody. And so we are unboxing the bike. I'm gonna do a full overhaul explaining to you some interesting tricks. That's the moment when you don't want to scratch the frame with the axle of the wheel, which is just on the side of the bike. I know that because I've scratched many bikes that way. Back to the story and the bike tools. So we decided we were going to give this bike away, but since I've started working more and more with some kids in the cycling teams, we thought, why wouldn't we sell this bike since it's a trekking bike? It's not really good for training and racing, and use the money to actually buy a racing bike. I cannot give you any more details right now because this is going to be a big surprise to one of those little kids actually who lost his bike last year because of some stupidness of other people. But you will know everything within a month.
It must be a sabotage. I'm really tired of this. Can you believe it? Each time when I'm looking for the 4mm Allen key, it's not there. Now can you guess what happens if I'm looking for the 5mm Allen key? And very often, it just sits here laughing straight at me.
Yeah, but anyway, my seat post clamp is clean now and somebody, maybe even the bicycle shop, they've put grease on the seat post, which I never do and I never recommend doing. It should be clean. You should just remove the seat post once in a while, maybe twice a year, and just clean it, because when you grease it, it will tend to just slide down. Especially for a heavier rider, it might be a problem. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to use degreaser. I'm using alcohol here to remove the grease at least from the seat post, and I've cleaned the seat tube a little bit in the frame. This way should be fine.
Careful here.
Yeah, somehow I always try to reuse those zip ties. It's a little bit of a plastic, but multiplied by all of us, it's a lot.
And the quickest test I do initially is... Hey, probably all bearings are fine.
Well, the zip ties help protecting the bike. The stretch foil that we can often find in the packaging with your bike can also be helpful, but it's great if we can reuse it. So I'm trying to do it, and in this case, I'm gonna reuse all of the zip ties, and these foam protectors will also be reused. Alright, it's time to assemble the handlebars. Always make sure that the housings, all those cables are not wrinkled. I'm always using the carbon paste, even for the aluminum. I can use a little bit less torque, and also maybe for those heavier rider, when you have a riser bar, when the bar isn't so flat, it's better because there is less risk that the handlebars will twist. But at this point I'm only tightening. I am tightening the bolts slightly. Guys, when will I ever learn to talk English to you? I'm sorry for that. It's time for the quick release. Clean dropouts are important because sometimes they may give us different noises and sounds when there's some sand. So it's clean now, and it's time now to show you the quick fix of the front suspension fork lockout.
It works. It's locked. Now, it didn't work before just because this lock lever was set in the wrong way, because the lock was just too far from the locking position. What I did was remove the lockout, and then I turned the actual locking system to the lock position, and then I put the lever in the lock position. The fork is locked, and now it's open. Easy.
I hope this was clear enough for you guys. It's time for the front caliper brake. It's loose now. I'm squeezing the front brake lever and then tightening those two bolts. In that way, the caliper will position itself against the rotor. It worked. It's fine here. Now to the drivetrain. It's in good condition. The bike doesn't have many miles on it, but somebody clearly overdid the oiling. Well, it's better to put too much oil on your drivetrain than too little, because when it's too little, it will get rusty. There is some steel parts, especially the chain, and the rust kills your drivetrain.
Let's check the shifting performance. Not bad, but it could be better. Listen to this. I'm going to shift up the cassette by 2 or 3 sprockets. Maybe 2 more. Then I'm shifting back down without the pedaling.
And this is an amazing trick. We've got a loose cable right now. It only works for those well-made external cable routing bikes, because I can now remove the housings, clean the cable without actually removing the cable, removing the mounting bolt, and threading the cable, guiding the cable again through those housings. It's so quick, and it helps so much with the shifting. My newest method is to put a little bit wax on the cable, only the part which goes inside the housing, and then a little bit of oil, just a little. We don't want the oil to come out from the housing, because then it will attract all that dirt, all the dust and everything. Everything you essentially see on the cassette right now and the chain. You don't want that on your cables, even outside the cables. So it's clean now. I'm just wiping off the excess of the oil, and now the other part of the housing from your shifter side. It is longer, it bends more, and the less friction we've got on this part also, it will bend less, and that means each motion of your finger or the thumb will translate to the motion of your rederailleur. It's so cool. Now I'm cleaning the guides for the stops for the housings, and now we are ready to clean and lubricate this little slider. I'm gonna use the Brunox spray here because it will clean the cable and the slider here nicely. You can use WD-40. You want this part, both the cable and the slider, to be just non-sticky, clean, and you want to have as little friction as possible. Putting the oil there would again attract the dirt. Moving on to the chain and the cassette, actually the whole drivetrain, and the pulleys on the derailleur too. This chain is so dirty, actually so full of old, I would say even grease, not just oil. I need to shake it. So degreaser here will be essential, and this is the degreaser I've been using for a couple of months. I think 5 or 6 shakes already done. So this will be the first apart, and then I'm gonna replace the degreaser and clean the chain and shake the chain again. Cleaning the pulleys is quite important. If they are clean with no old grease, nothing will stick to them, but also the shifting will be more precise. You will feel the difference. Of course, there will be less friction on your drivetrain as well. Now I'm just applying the degreaser to the cassette because this grease is very difficult to remove with the rack. So before I even use the rack, I need to let the degreaser work a little bit. Now I'm gonna use a towel and show you my method of cleaning the cassette. It's old method, but with a towel. I'm having just a small piece of towel and I'm going through all the sprockets here. After I do it, I will change the side of the towel, as you can see, using another edge of the towel. The towel is great because it comes in between those sprockets well. Then I apply a little bit of the degreaser again, and using another edge of the towel, I'm cleaning it to the silver. And then I will just cut off those dirty parts of the towel and it will be ready for another cassette. This is a very good method and the cassette will be clean and beautiful. Now the magnet trick, you probably know it already. In order to remove the chain easily from the jar, I use the magnet, then I remove the quick link or the master link. But now can you see that thing? The magnet still holds on to the jar, even though there is no quick link inside or anything. It's just the debris, all the dirt from the chain, which obviously contains some metal particles, because the magnet works on them. So you can see what happens to your chain when you are using them, when you are just riding your bike and changing the gears. So this was another shake. I'm letting the chain stay in the jar for a couple of minutes, and now I'm cleaning all the parts which are now easy to clean when the rear wheel is not there. You can see lots of grease everywhere. Now the rear wheel gets back on the bike with the beautiful silver and clean cassette. And then just remember to clean your floor, because all that dirt from the cassette, when you step on it, there's no way you're gonna clean it from off your socks or your feet. In order to clean nicely the chainring at the front, it's good to remove that little protection. Then I have beautiful access to the chainring. It's not even the narrow white, it's the cheap steel thing. But you know what? It works. For such a bike, I think it's just enough. The chain now got really clean. And when we put it on the bike, it will look beautiful, it will shift beautiful, it will even sound completely different than what you've heard before.
Guys, this is beautiful.
Putting the chain back on your bike, remember to check whether the chain is directional or non-directional. This is the non-directional, cheaper kind of a chain. This is the KMC, but also remember to thread it or guide it properly through the rear derailleur cage. Then the quick link, and we've got ourselves beautiful drivetrain. Beautiful drivetrain. It took me a while to clean it, but then when you keep it clean, if you don't over lube it, it will just stay clean and nice. I love it.
By the way, this is how the dry chain sounds like.
Yeah, you can hear the rattle on the dry chain, and then when you continue using it without lubing it, it will get rusty and it will stop rattle and its lifespan will be really, really short. I'm just letting the chain, the links, to actually grab those drops of oil from my little bottle, then spin it and wipe off the excess, and it shifts beautifully. For such a cheap drivetrain, it really does the job. And now when you think that it only took me a couple of minutes to do this episode and clean the bike, here you've got the time lapse. and I'll never ride my bike through the mud again. Probably. Ta-da! Well, this is not a bicycle detailing just yet, but the bike is clean, it does look nice, we can sell it right now, even the tires are really nice looking and clean, the drivetrain is beautiful and shiny, the rear derailleur does beautiful job, the housings are clean, the cables are clean, the fork is clean, and the lockout on it works now. And you know what? Even my cat hanging out with me here did like what we did today. And so he went off. He'll be back in a minute.